Hi, my name is Glenn Story. I'm the founder and CEO of Patriot Mobile. I'd love for you to learn more about Patriot Mobile, www.patriotmobile.com/Gene V. More importantly, I'd like you to be a subscriber to his show. I mean, his Truthcast is amazing. And if you get to listen to some of them, you'll never go back. I really encourage you to come watch it.
Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed, but the values remain the same. Today, in 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream. Because this year is not just any year, it's the most important year since our nation's founding. Choose a wireless carrier that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Now, Presidential Fellow at the Chapman Institute, Mark Skousen, host of America Right Now, Tom Basile, and Republican strategist and host of the Grassroots Truthcast podcast, Gene Valentino. Gene, I'm going to start with you. You're new with us here on American Agenda. I know you're in town celebrating the Newsmax IPO with us. So let's get right into the topic of the stock market and those tariffs. What do you make of President Trump's tariff plan?
A blip on the screen is not the pattern. Donald Trump's success will be measured over the next 3 months, 6 months, maybe even less time. But this blip on the screen today is not a reflection. The past doesn't reflect the future either. Any commentary I just heard talking about how disruptive Donald Trump's tariffs are is nonsense. America's been disrupted for decades through a strategic plan to undermine the economy of this nation, which is now becoming domesticated again. And it's a transition we're going through. Fasten your seatbelt, 3 to 6 more months, and you're going to see some great prosperity.
I think what stood out to me yesterday is when he had that gentleman from Detroit on, talking about the factories, they're all empty now. It's all gone. And he loved what President Trump is trying to do. And then you saw the chart, all the tariffs that other countries levy on the United States and bringing it back to a level playing field.
Yeah, 2 of those numbers really stuck out to me. China, which is the average tariff on U.S. goods, is 67%. India is over 50%. Now, put the populations, those 2 markets together, that's a quarter of the world's population.
Wow.
Think about the economic disadvantage that has been levied against the United States. So this is, I've been calling this a realignment presidency. And he's doing that with foreign policy. He's doing that with domestic spending and domestic policy. This is a realignment of our economic policy globally. It's going to take some time. But when they need to be able to explain this to people quickly and easily as to why this is about fairness for American workers and what the potential upsides are.
Yeah, very good point. Communication, it's all about that. And that, of course, the administration has been doing that. Mark, I want to get your thoughts. President Trump did say all of this will really lead back to the American dream being attainable again, or in so many words. Do you see that happening?
No, absolutely not. And in fact, I think the president is delusional. I think he's making a major mistake. Look, I'm a professional economist, and one of the things I teach at Chapman University, and I've taught at Columbia and other big schools, is cost-benefit analysis. You have to look, don't just look at the benefits that we're achieving through these tariffs. You have to look at the cost, the rise in the cost to consumers. You're not going to see cheap clothing and toys and sports, and even automobiles are going to increase dramatically in price. So what is the cost? Well, in 2018, President Trump imposed a 25% tariff on steel. It created 1,000 jobs in the United States, but it also lost 75,000 jobs. Why? Because steel is an import, and that raises the cost and causes trouble. You have to remember the automobile industry has 30,000 different parts. You know how much comes from outside the United States in imports? 40%. So even U.S. cars are going to see a dramatic increase in price. You're going to see an increase in price in products that are in the grocery stores that come from Mexico and Canada. Oil used to sell cheaply to the U.S. Oil price at a discount, and now the price is going higher. There's a lot of problems with this, and you can't just look at the benefits. You have to look at the cost, and on net basis, it's a real negative.
Well, Mark, I want to point to two things. The CEO of Cleveland-Cliffs, one of the biggest steel manufacturers in the United States, supports these tariffs wholeheartedly. Also, President Trump handed the Biden administration a 1.4% inflation rate the last time around here. Very low. I think he's taking inflation into consideration. Gene, what do you think about those comments?
And that inflation rate was low, Bob, because we had a supply-side economic strategy. The supply-side economic strategy in this nation meant we bought locally first. We were held hostage through this transition of outsourcing to outside vendors outside the nation, which put us in the predicament we're in. I wouldn't be whining about a temporary 2 months or 3 months in transition. The government has a responsibility to look for the long-term gain and protection of this nation, and that's what Donald Trump's thinking about, not the blip on the stock market today or tomorrow.
Well, and I just want to make
it's not a blip. We're entering a bear market, folks. This is a very serious problem. Can't call it a blip.
Mark,
Mark makes some interesting points. And again, this is a bold strategy that hasn't really been tried really in our lifetime.
Correct.
So there are a variety of different opinions on this.
Yeah.
Sure.
One, the stock market, we have been talking about this, has been overvalued for over a year. And two, you know, one of the most important things that you want to couple together with this is the tax cuts. And this is where Congress now comes in, because everybody wants to talk about Donald Trump.
Good point, Tom.
This has got to be also, Congress has got to come in, and they need to get the Trump tax cuts. They need to make those permanent from 2017. They need to extend the tax relief. You'll see the economy, and you're going to see the stock market bounce right back if you actually infuse that cash back into the market.
We definitely need a tax cut, but this is a tax increase. And it's a total transformation of the economy away from globalization and free trade.
It's not a tax increase. It is a tariff, and companies have a choice to
Who pays the tax in a tariff? Who pays the tax? American importers, not exporters. Importers pay the tax. Consumers pay the tax.
Well,
it's a tax.
That's theory.
Walmart just said, Mark, to China imports, we're buying your product, but no, we're not picking up the tariff increase. And
we'll see about that.
Businesses have the choice whether or not
easier
to pass
said
it on
than
to the
done.
consumer. All right, we are out of time.
We'll have to see how it plays out. Again, obviously a hot button issue. We'll see how it all plays out.
All right, gentlemen, we appreciate you all coming on.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And still ahead on American Agenda, a new federal investigation into President Biden and his possible use of... All right, and we turn now to TikTok. President Trump and the White House reportedly inching closer to announcing a new deal that would keep TikTok available in the United States. The president holding a meeting yesterday to iron out the details of a possible deal. As one report says, last-minute bidders are now swooping in, including Amazon, which has made an 11th hour offer.
I think it's pretty valuable. The deadline for a deal is this Saturday, and if an agreement isn't made by then, the popular social media app, it could go dark again, or the president could once again extend the deadline. A lot of agains here. TikTok has come under enormous pressure as lawmakers from both sides of the aisle feel it's a national security concern, being owned by the Chinese parent company ByteDance.
That's right. And joining us now to weigh in, Republican strategist Gene Valentino back with us, along with host of Wise Guys, John Tabacco. Great to have you both here with us in studio. John, what do you think? I mean, do you think a deal's going to come through? I know there's some big companies out there who want a piece of TikTok.
Well, first of all, I hate TikTok, so I really don't care. I wouldn't mind at all if they just got rid of the whole darn thing, to be honest.
I second that.
But there are a lot of people out there who love it, people who make their money and their income off of it. So, you know, it's something kids these days.
I could tell you guys that about 6 months ago, I got contacted by a PR firm here in the U.S., and they were creating a narrative about how great TikTok is for small businesses. So all these ads and things, that's all manufactured by TikTok to make you feel bad for the small business person who uses TikTok. They could use Instagram. They could use Facebook. They could use X. Why does China get all our data? I'm scared about that.
But what
seen
about an
those
American
commercials,
company
right?
taking it over? Sorry to interrupt there.
The bingo on TikTok. I mean, I've got a few businesses I own, and TikTok's not part of any of it for a reason. And, you know, even per our last segment, government does what it can to protect the interests of the people, regardless of how it shows in the stock market in the next few days, few weeks. And I'm glad the government is, and I trust Donald Trump in this case, to hold the line and hold a hard line on making sure that our protections as a nation are come first, regardless of the presence of
Well,
TikTok.
Gene, that's what this boils down to. You have a Chinese company access to all that data, messaging to young kids.
You're out.
I mean, that is a concern here, and that's what they're trying to address.
Yeah, and I think it's appropriate that we nip it in the bud. And if you're walking around with your iPhone in your hand and coming through intersections or anywhere else in the classroom, you're probably not going to be comfortable with this mandate from the government pushing a restriction of the use of an availability of TikTok in America. I'm with Johnny. I'm on board with it.
I'm scared of that because, you know, I'm kind of like a libertarian, and we don't want the government to force themselves into commerce, even if the product is something that we don't love. At the same time, we don't want another administration to come along and say, well, we don't like your American friends. We're going to take over your company.
Right.
So, you know, there's got to be a balance. I think Trump was going to like knee-jerk it at first, and he extended a little. If somebody's got to own it, then hopefully it's a great American company.
Well,
but I'd rather it be gone.
But I mean, if Gene, if say whether you like the app or not, I guess you guys both don't. Neither does Bob. But again, if we talk about the Chinese parent company, but if an American company takes it over, then what do you think? Is that good for America? Not the social media part of it, but more of the business part of it.
The question will end up being an issue as to whether you believe the data is protected and our privacy is protected. We have an issue with it in the medical industry with HIPAA and medical information getting out. Can the government guarantee and be certain that it'll protect the data of the citizens? If they can, you might have a sale.
John, we're out of time. Can you trust the Chinese company to say, hey, we're not going to do anything weird with
No, the answer is no.
I think you knew the answer to that one.
We need either an American CEO that Trump has some access to, but slippery slope, guys. You know, just like deporting people who haven't committed crimes. We don't want that to happen to us from another administration.
All right,
so we got to stay clean here.
We shall see what happens. Gene, John, good to have you both on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, coming up, President Trump launching that global tariff blitz. He says it'll protect American industry, but markets kind of going down today, taking a dive. We're going to dive into it. There we go.
I like what you did there. All right.
Straight
but
ahead.
First, some female athletes are taking a stand against biological men. Yeah, it's still going on, competing in women's sports, but others are taking a knee. I'll explain exactly what I mean by that on The Other View. Stay right there. President Trump spoke with reporters just moments ago on his way to Florida for the weekend. Let's listen in.
Thank you very much. We're going to see the big golf tournament at Doral. I'm speaking tonight for charity, and then we'll be coming back here pretty quickly. But they're having a big event, and a lot of charitable causes are involved. So we look forward to that. It's in Miami at Doral.
President Trump, the markets today are way down, the worst day in years because of the tariffs. So how's it going?
I think it's going very well. It was an operation, like when a patient gets operated on, and it's a big thing. I said this would exactly be the way it is. We have $6 or $7 trillion coming into our country, and we've never seen anything like it. The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal? They've taken advantage of us for many, many years. For many years, we've been at the wrong side of the ball, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be unbelievable. The thing that people have to talk about, we're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country, and you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
Okay, President Trump headed to Doral.
That's right.
Big golf weekend down there, and also talking about tariffs. All about it right now. Okay, turning to this. One interim U.S. attorney in Washington isn't letting the Joe Biden auto pen scandal fade from the headlines. Ed Martin is now pursuing an investigation into whether Joe Biden used the device to sign pardons for his family members just before leaving for office.
The probe stems from the theory that President Biden may not have been mentally capable to consent to the pardons, something that officials from the Biden White House have pushed back on.
This theory was first reported and proposed by the Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project after releasing findings last month, which they say shows that Biden consistently used the same auto pen signature over the course of his presidency, including on pardons.
Well, the only outlier being the signature that appeared on Biden's statement announcing he was dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. You can see the difference there.
Big difference. All right, here with reaction, Executive Director of the Oversight Project at the Heritage Foundation, Mike Howell, along with Republican strategist Gene Valentino, back with us in studio. Glad to have you. Mike, I'm going to start with you. Talk about this, how this investigation could even look, how you could go about proving this.
Yeah, first, thanks for having me on. Second, it's not a theory. The Biden administration and their surrogates have admitted they used the auto pens prolifically. Several of his aides are the New York Post saying that they did not know that the staffer who was wielding the auto pen had actual or just perceived authority. So our investigation has determinatively pointed out there was two different types of auto pens at least, and it's beyond dispute the auto pen was used. The question now turns to whether Biden was, one, aware of it being used, particularly in the final days, and then two, whether he even had the mental capacity to sign off. And his own Department of Justice found he couldn't stand trial. Books are coming out, now where staffers and reporters are finally giving us the sordid details that Biden was what he appeared to be to the rest of the country, completely out of it. And so U.S. Attorney Ed Martin, a bright and shining star for the Trump administration, is absolutely correct to pursue accountability for the criminal conduct of the crooks who, when they received these fraudulent pardons, admitted their own guilt. So they have a funky $3 bill pardon right now. U.S. Attorney Ed Martin's charging hard, as he should be, for law and order.
Gene, what do you make of this?
Well, they're a great opportunity to pick up a novelty for future value at a pawn shop, and that's, I think, all you get out of it, because these auto pen signatures will prove to be, and I'm not a lawyer, but guys, I must admit, when I was a candidate for Congress, one of the concerns I had was I was going to go after anything or everything that Joe Biden did that to question his cognition. If he was not directly involved in these decisions, guys, there's a claim for any congressman or senator to bring up questioning the merits of any signature by Joe Biden. I think that brings into dispute some real issues that are much more substantive than the things they're pushing on Donald Trump and Elon Musk right now.
Absolutely, Mike. Expand upon that. I mean, you could be talking about other investigations, digging into it, do a lot of stuff, to Gene's point.
Absolutely. This opens the door to the question everyone around the world wants answered and has been asking. Who was actually the president the last 4 years? Everybody knows it's not Biden. At one point, over 75% of Americans said he did not have the mental capacity. It's an open secret. So the next question is, so who was in charge? And so when, U.S. Attorney Ed Martin or whoever else who tests these pardons in court, in order to defend those pardons, these staff or these individuals are going to have to, go in there for questioning. The staffers are going to have to come in and answer questions. And guess what? They can't hide behind executive privilege, because President Biden waived executive privilege for Trump staffers over January 6th. So this Trump administration could do the same thing. It is an imminently solvable problem to figure out who the president is, and that's what I hope happens.
Gene, I understand the points, of course, that Mike is making, that you're making, but some people may say, listen, Biden's long gone, Trump's back in the White House, let's just move on.
Yeah, if we don't remind ourselves of the past, we're prone to repeat it. I think it's important we learn from our mistakes and fix them once and for all. That's what Trump's doing with these transformative decisions on the tariffs alone. Putting that aside, I think we need to go back and question every single thing that Joe Biden has done under his term. We need to know if he was cognizant and of sound mind when he made some of these administrative decisions.
A lot of people want that to be looked into.
That's right, yeah.
And if something was nefarious there, which I'm not saying, either way.
That's right.
People want answers to it.
That's right. America does want answers.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Mike Howell and also Gene Valentino, thank you so much for being with us.
Okay, folks, stick with us. The second hour of American Agenda